Today I'm going to share some of my favorite podcasts to listen to for real estate agents. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, I hope you're all having an amazing day. As you know, my name is Aram. I'm a real estate agent in the Chicagoland area. And if it's the first time you're watching any of my videos, number one, thank you for being here. Number two, please, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below of exactly what brought you here, how do you like what you're seeing, and what do you want to see more of? You want to see more vlogs, more videos like this? Whatever the case is, let me know. This channel is all about me sharing my experiences to becoming a successful real estate agent. I'm not successful yet. Don't let the suit fool you. Anyhow, today's focus is going to be on the best podcasts to listen to for real estate agents. Now, these are just my opinions. This is just the ones I love to listen to. There may be other ones I'm missing out on. If I am, leave it in the comments. I'm always hunting down new podcasts to listen to, so let me know. But we're not just going to focus on real estate podcasts for agents. We're also going to touch on a couple of business podcasts because as a real estate agent, you're running your own business and it's important to expand your horizons and see how other industries are getting business or running their operations. That way you could take what you learn and apply it to yourself and then grow from it. So without wasting any time, let's get straight to the nitty gritty and we're gonna start with Bigger Pockets. That's one of my favorite podcasts to listen to on the investing side. It's not particularly for real estate agents. However, if you're an agent, you have to know how to invest in real estate, one, for yourself and for your clients, because you will end up with some investor clients and you want to be able to service them in the best way possible. And on top of that, it's a great podcast to listen to just to see how investors talk, what they look at, what is the criteria that's important to them, what category of investments they look at. Are they trailer parks? Are they multifamily, single family condos? And then you just see a variety of different success stories, and it gets you to figure out what's best for you and best for your clients. This next one is my favorite podcast for real estate agents to listen to. It's called the GSD Mode podcast. GSD stands for Get Shit Done. It's hosted by Joshua Smith, who himself is currently a real estate agent. He runs a really big team. I think they do over 300 million in production a year. It's important for me that the host of the podcast is actually selling real estate because they know what questions to ask. They've been there, they've done it, they've experienced the struggle, so they understand what to say to get the most out of every interview. And I think Joshua Smith does a fantastic job. He interviews some of the best agents in the business, and it gives me so much perspective because oftentimes you may be struggling to get, 5, 10, 20 deals closed in a year, and then you hear this guy saying, man, we had a slow year, it was 80 deals. What? That's possible? Boom. Horizons expanded. Let's get to business. So, big fan of the GSD Mode podcast. Let's keep it moving. Next up is a podcast I actually started listening to when I got into the business. It's called Real Estate Uncensored, hosted by Greg McDaniel and Matt Johnson. Phenomenal podcast. These guys give you a lot of value. They've been in the business, and Greg McDaniel is actually still an active agent who sells real estate, who prospects, and again, a lot of value. You can't go wrong with the Real Estate Uncensored podcast. This last real estate agent podcast was originally made for real estate agents in Chicago by Chicago Realtors. However, it went pretty national because it really applies to everybody. You don't have to be from Chicago to listen to it, and it's called Keeping It Real. It's a great podcast, especially for me because it's local. I can literally call any of the agents and go see them the next day. So that's kind of why I like listening to it. May not be the best for you, but definitely do check it out. Now let's move on to some business podcasts that I love the most. Let's start with, and again, these are not in any order. It's not my favorite to my least favorite. It's just the ones I like to listen to. Wolf's Den by Jordan Belfort. I like this in this podcast because he's a sales trainer, so there's a heavy emphasis on sales whenever he's interviewing somebody because he wants to understand their process. And I think that's valuable because as real estate agents, at the end of the day, we're salespeople. So it's important to learn that aspect of the business. He interviews a bunch of both celebrities and business owners as well, so it's good to listen to that show. Next up is the Ed Mylett Show, hosted by, you guessed it, Ed Mylett. This is another example of somebody who's been there and done it, and he knows what questions to ask to get the most out of the interview. I believe his net worth is like 400 million plus. He owns like a bunch of houses across the country. So he's good, right? He's good, and it's important to learn from people who've done it. And he brings on folks from all different industries, like I mentioned earlier, and he just gets the most out of it. Like, what are the struggle points, the worst time of the business, the best time in the business. And he paints this big picture. It's phenomenal. I'm running out of breath here, folks. And this next business podcast is my personal favorite. I listen to this before I listen to anything, and it's called Dropping Bombs by Brad Lee. The reason that I enjoy listening to this podcast the most is, number one, it's entertaining. Okay, the guy is having a conversation with his guest, not an interrogation, right? It's not a Q&A. It's almost like, all right, let's sit down. And he even says it in the beginning of every show. Listen, we're sitting down, we're going to shoot the shit, and we might end up dropping some nuggets, some knowledge nuggets. And when you do, I'll drop a bomb on that to let people know that it's time to listen. And it's so, so good. And one thing I also love about this podcast is he's known as the real Brad Lee, which means he does, when he recognizes that you're being fake or you're not being as transparent as you should be, he will call you out. And there's been interviews where he's just grilling the person he's interviewing because they're just fake, or he realizes that this guy's not the real deal and he just exposes them. And that's the way it should be, because if you're not the real deal, you shouldn't be acting like you are. So definitely do recommend listening to the Real Brad Lee Dropping Bombs podcast. And that's a testament to why entertainment is so valuable when you're creating your content for your business. Whether you're cold calling, you got to entertain to keep them on the phone, right? You're making videos, you got to entertain to keep people's attention. You're making marketing advertisements, entertain, right? Inform and entertain. That is the formula, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my favorite podcasts to listen to. Let me know if you actually are a fan of any of these, if any of them, if you listen to them and then you like them, let me know. And then also tell me what podcasts I should be listening to. What are your favorites? I like to listen to any business podcasts or any real estate podcasts. Any sales podcasts will also work. Leave it in the comments and we'll get into it. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.